Most people think a Jeep Wrangler is the absolute pinnacle of off-roading. Look, I'm not here to bash the Jeep. It's fine for getting groceries in a snowstorm or hitting a light trail on a Sunday afternoon. It's cute, but let's be real for a second. If the world actually ended tomorrow, or if you found yourself dropped into the dead center of a Siberian swamp with no cell service and no rescue coming, that Wrangler is just a fancy, computer-controlled pile of scrap metal waiting to fail. If you want to survive the mud, the mountains, and the absolute middle of nowhere, you need something built with grit, grease, and zero electronics. I'm talking about machines that don't just drive over obstacles, they erase them from the map. We're going deep today into the world of old iron. 10. The Steyr Pooch Haflinger. Starting us off at number 10, let's start small, real small. The Steyr Pooch Haflinger. Now I know what you're thinking. That looks like a motorized shoebox or a lawnmower that spent way too much time at the gym. Yeah, it does. But don't let the size fool you. This Austrian mountain goat weighs about as much as my toolbox, yet it has a center of gravity so low it practically hugs the bedrock. It's named after a breed of mountain horses, and trust me, it lives up to the name. It's got portal axles and lockers on both ends, which is legendary for something this size. Most modern trucks struggle to fit lockers in at all. I've seen these things climb literal concrete stairs while carrying 4 grown men without even breaking a sweat. It's not about massive horsepower here. It's about power to weight and pure mechanical leverage. It's proof that you don't need a massive, thirsty V8 to conquer the Alps. You just need some damn good European engineering and a bit of never say die attitude. When you're behind the wheel of a Haflinger, you don't feel like you're driving a car. You feel like you're wearing a mechanical suit that can walk up a wall. Number 9. The UAZ 452 Bukhanka. Coming in at number 9, we're moving into the heavy Soviet steel. But before we get to the really big stuff, we have to talk about the Loaf. The UAZ 452, better known as the Bukhanka. This thing has been in production since 1965. And here's the crazy part. They still haven't changed a single major thing about it. Why? Because you simply cannot improve on a brick that refuses to die. It's a 4x4 van that looks like a loaf of bread and drives like a 1940s tractor. It's loud, it's drafty, it'll leak oil on your shoes, and the engine sits right between the driver and the passenger. In the winter, that engine is your best friend. It's your heater. In the summer, it's your personal oven. But when the Siberian mud turns into a thick black soup that swallows modern SUVs whole, the Bukhanka just keeps chugging. There are no sensors to fail, no plastic clips to break, just raw, unrefined utility that can be fixed with a heavy hammer and a flathead screwdriver. If you can't fix a Bukhanka in the middle of a forest, you shouldn't be driving one. Next up at number 8, we need to talk about that Gaz 66 I mentioned earlier, the Shashiga. This is the truck that won the Cold War in the mud. It's got a V8, which sounds great on paper, but driving it is a different story. Soviet drivers used to say you needed iron kidneys to drive one, and they weren't kidding. The suspension is stiff enough to crack a rib, but that's because it's built to carry serious weight over terrain that would stop a tank. And here's the kicker, the secret I teased. The gear shifter isn't where you think it is. It's actually located behind the driver's right shoulder. I'm not joking. You have to be a literal acrobat to find third gear. It's an ergonomic disaster. But despite that, the Gaz 66 is a masterpiece of off-road design. It has a central tire inflation system that was revolutionary for its time, letting you drop the pressure to crawl through sand and pump it back up for the road without ever leaving your seat. It's got a nearly 50-50 weight distribution, which makes it incredibly stable. It's built to go where roads don't exist, and it does it with a terrifying level of mechanical violence. 7. The Steyr Pooch Pinzgauer. At number 7, you've got the more refined European cousin, the Steyr Pooch Pinzgauer. If the Gaz 66 is a sledgehammer, the Pinz is a high-end Swiss Army knife. You can get it in 4x4 or 6x6 configurations, and honestly, the 6x6 is the one you want. It features an air-cooled engine, which means no radiator to leak and no coolant to freeze. But the real magic is the backbone chassis. Instead of a normal frame, the drivetrain, the drive shaft, the diffs, everything is protected inside a massive central tube. This makes it nearly impossible to high-center this beast on a rock. I've spent time under these machines, and let me tell you, the way they engineered the drivetrain is pure art. Every wheel has independent swing axle suspension. When you drive a Pinz over boulders, you can feel the truck walking over the terrain. It's expensive to maintain, sure, but in terms of pure, unstoppable capability, it's in a league of its own. It makes a G-Wagon look like a toy. 6. Land Rover 101 Forward Control. You know, modern Land Rovers are basically iPads on wheels. They're soft. They're made for mall parking lots and showing off at the country club. But the Land Rover 101 Forward Control? That was back when Land Rover actually meant business. It was built specifically for the British Army to tow heavy howitzers into positions where no other truck could go. It's tall, boxy, and has the aerodynamics of a garden shed. You sit right over the front wheels, literally forward control, which gives you a view of the trail that is absolutely unmatched. You see the obstacle before you hit it. But man, that Rover V8 roar right under your seat, that's soul. You feel every single explosion in the cylinders right in your gut. It's raw, it's honest, and it'll pull a house off its foundation if you ask it to. It doesn't have fancy traction control. It has your foot, a heavy clutch, and enough low-range gearing to climb a tree. 5. Alvis Stalwart, the Stolly. Halfway through, at number 5, you've got to look at the Alvis Stalwart, or as the Brits call it, the Stolly. Now pay attention, because this isn't even a truck in the traditional sense. It's a six-wheeled amphibious beast. It's got no doors. Why? Because doors leak. If you want to get in, you climb through the roof like you're entering a submarine. It can drive through a swamp at 40 miles per hour and then literally drive straight into a deep river and start swimming. It uses specialized water jets to navigate. It's a mechanical masterpiece, but it's also a total maintenance nightmare. It has hundreds of grease points, and if you don't hit every single one of them regularly, the drivetrain will seize up and leave you stranded. If you own one of these, you're either a mechanical genius with a lot of spare time, or you're completely out of your mind. Probably a bit of both. But seeing a 9-ton truck start swimming is something you never forget. 4. ZIL 131. We're getting into the heavy hitters now. At number 4, the legendary ZIL 131. This is the backbone of the entire Eastern Bloc. It's a 6x6 that'll run on literally anything you pour into the tank. Gasoline, kerosene, probably cheap vodka if you're desperate enough. It's got a massive V8 and a central tire inflation system that lets the driver adjust the tire pressure on the fly without ever leaving the cab. It was built for one thing and one thing only: getting an entire platoon of soldiers across places where there are no maps. It's loud, it's thirsty, and it sounds like a literal thunderstorm when it's idling in the mud. There's no power steering that feels light. It's a workout just to turn the wheel, but when you're behind the wheel of a ZIL, you feel like you're driving a piece of history that refuses to be tamed. 3. Tatra 813 Colossus. Now we're on the podium. Number 3, the Tatra 813. They call it the Colossus for a reason. 8x8 drive, 8 wheels, all driven. It's powered by a massive air-cooled V12 diesel engine. Think about that for a second. A V12 that doesn't need a radiator. No coolant leaks, no overheating in the desert. Like the Pinzgauer, it doesn't have a traditional frame. It has a central backbone tube that everything else bolts to. The suspension is independent on every single one of those 8 wheels. When you see a Tatra crawling over massive boulders, the wheels lean in and out like it's a living, breathing creature. It's the most impressive piece of heavy engineering I have ever seen in my life, period. Watching 15 tons of steel flex and crawl over a rock pile is enough to make any gearhead shed a tear. It's not just a truck, it's a monument to what happens when engineers are told to ignore the costs and just build the best. Number 2, Lamborghini LM002, the Rambo Lambo. Just missing the top spot at number 2, the Lamborghini LM002. They call it the Rambo Lambo. Most people think Lamborghini only makes low-slung wedges for bedroom boasters, but back in the 80s, they decided to put a Countach V12 engine, the same one from the supercar, into a 4-wheel drive truck. It's completely absurd. It's thirsty. You're lucky if you get 4 miles to the gallon. And finally, here we are. Number 1, the Toyota Mega Cruiser. This is the secret king of the off-road world. Toyota looked at the American Hummer H1 and said, "We can do that, but we'll make it reliable." It's got portal axles, which give it incredible ground clearance. It's got 3 locking differentials, but here's the absolute bombshell: 4-wheel steering. This massive wide beast can turn in a tighter circle than a Toyota Camry. Let that sink in for a second. A military-grade giant that can outmaneuver a mid-sized sedan. It's the ultimate expression of over-engineered. You can't buy them easily, and you definitely can't find parts at your local AutoZone. But if you own one, you don't just own a truck. You own the mountain. You own the trail. You own the respect of every gearhead who knows what real engineering looks like.